What's your total monthly cost, PMI, debt, property taxes, all the goodies?
Everything included is like 2,500.
This house is very expensive for you and you
Very
alone.
expensive.
37% of your pre-tax, almost 50% of post-tax. That's expensive. How much is in your emergency fund right now?
I have six, but I also have five somewhere else, so I have 11.
What's the other five in?
It's at the dealership. I'm on a waiting list.
For a car?
Yeah, I can get it back. It's fully refundable.
Mortgage taking up so much of your money? I'd probably, even that itself is too low. I'd probably want to have minimum $20,000.
That's actually the exact number I'm getting back to.
Okay, getting back to, so did you take from what was considered your emergency fund for this?
Yeah. That 12 came from the emergency fund.
Well, buying a home is not an emergency, correct?
Uh, no, but
Welcome to Monthly Money, where we look at someone's spending and income for the last 30 days and how that all comes together to meet their future goals. Today we are talking to Jordan. Jordan, how old are you and where are you from?
25 from Central Florida, near Orlando.
Nice. What do you do there for a living?
Now I'm an electrical engineer.
Ooh, nice. Electrical engineer. What do you make a year?
Got a recent promotion, so 81 now.
81 bucks or $81,000 a year. Very nice. So let me guess, you're probably bringing in like $5,400 a month after taxes?
Roughly.
And how would you describe yourself financially?
I'm good financially. I have no debt. I guess I have a positive net worth at 25, so that's pretty good
And you consider yourself financially educated?
for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely more than the average 25-year-old.
Oh, and you have a cute dog.
That's my girlfriend's dog. She's in the other room.
I'm a big dog fan, so that made my day. All right, well, let's take a look at your monthly money. So let's look at the checking account first. Checking account starting balance $2,233. Put in $4,963. Taken out $2,744. So that leaves us with an ending balance that increased to $4,452.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, how my budget breaks down is every month my savings goes up about roughly $2,000 after everything.
Okay, so at this point, you just didn't transfer that extra $2,000 into the savings since this was checking?
Yeah, and I mean, eventually you'll see that big down payment for the house, and then so that's
Okay.
that's kind of what happened.
Now I see you transferred to TD Ameritrade. I
Yeah, I
see.
have a Roth IRA.
Good.
Maxed it out for 2 years. This will be my third year.
Not too much in terms of eating out. It looks like you only did just a few times over the course of a month. A Chick-fil-A, Firehouse Subs, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle. But that's all over the course of 30 days, and that is not bad at all. Then the rest look like just kind of normal bills and some grocery shopping. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, so my girlfriend actually handles the grocery shopping. I don't really pay for food. I just pay for the food out. Like if we go to Chick-fil-A or something, I'll pay for both of those.
And you guys really don't do that much, apparently.
Yeah, it depends. Especially recently, just because of the house payment and stuff, I've been trying to cut back. Because I got to get my savings back up.
Gotcha. And it looks like you bring in closer to $5,000 a month post
Yeah,
everything. $2,452 per paycheck.
yeah,
And
roughly.
then, yeah, and then the savings account attached to this one. Let's take a look here. So beginning balance of okay, I see. 14,261 and then in 1,805, but taking out $12,000, leaving you with 4,073. Now $12,000 was a wire transfer. This was for the home purchase.
Yeah, that was my down payment.
Was your down payment only $12,000?
Yeah, so basically how the deal was structured is I bought the house for 365. and I put 12 as a deposit. My dad was my realtor, so he put six of his commission, and that put me at 5% down. And then the builder covered 15,000 in closing costs.
Okay. Very cool. Wow, I miss when homes were in the $300,000 range. That must be nice. So 5% down. Why did you decide to do 5% down? I like. It sounds like you got a good deal, saving on the buyer commission, and then of course the closing costs being covered is also awesome. But why only 5%?
Because I've only been out of school for 3 years, and I don't have the money for more. Right, like 20% down on a $365,000 house is a lot of money, right?
It is a lot of money. Whereas, so you are valuing the getting into the real estate market at a lower down payment with a higher monthly cost, just because there's obviously more mortgage payment to take care of, more lending payments to take care of, and then more there's mortgage insurance as well. But you find the value of getting in worth it over that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. We'll talk about this later, I guess, but eventually I'm going to create a portfolio, and so in 3 or 4 years, when I move into another house for 3 to 5% down, then I can rent this one out. And with new construction, you also have the appreciation over time. So you could project it could grow anywhere from 8 to 10% year over year for the next 5 years. It's going to outpace the APR. So
Okay, so you want to roll into another house at some point. If you wanted to roll into a house and put minimal down on that, it sounds similar to the Burr method, the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. But you're doing this at a brand new build, meaning there's not much rehab to be done.
exactly.
Why'd you decide to go that route versus rehab?
Because new houses appreciate better. That's one. Two is the I basically got a bigger house for the same price as an older home in this market because the market's just ridiculous. So if you're gonna buy in this market, I would 100% go new construction over something that's been there, since 1980, and you have to worry about the AC and the roof and whatever else. Yeah, we looked at. So I live. Orlando's pretty expensive, and so I was looking at it like a 2.2, but they wanted 350 for it. So I was like, yeah, I just can't do this. So I ended up going with a 4.2 for 365.
Yeah, the housing market's a little bit in a retreat, so that gives you some leverage when it comes to getting a good deal. I doubt you could have done that even a year ago.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I would have never even bought it if the builder wasn't covering closing costs. That's one big indicator that the housing market is turning around and going the other way is the increase in incentives from builders.
So this is in the Orlando area.
Yes.
That's a good market to buy in. Very nice.
Yeah, it's right. It's north of Orlando, so it'll get built up eventually, but we'll see what happens.
Gotcha. And then you have your second statement. So this has another checking account and another savings. So let's see here. The savings is what's on top. So let's talk about that first. Pretty much nothing. Beginning balance of 105, ending balance of 105, probably just like keeping it alive. And the checking starting balance 492, added 12,469. Took out 12,550, ending balance of $411. So this is your taking care of bills stuff.
That's the down payment on the house. That 12,000 is the house.
Oh,
And then the other 80 was just for gas or whatever else I spent on that month.
yeah, there definitely is more eating out all of a sudden. So I thought you did it like 4 times a month, but
No, it's more.
Yeah, splitting it between some cards. Got a Chipotle, some Subway. So what is Wawa food? I've heard of Wawa. I forgot.
It's a gas station, but they have food too.
Okay. Chipotle. You guys like Chipotle, Subway, Chick-fil-A, Chili's, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle. Oh, some Chinese restaurant. That's changing it up from the Chipotle. No, but we're back to Chipotle. And okay. For your salary, so you said you and your girlfriend or you and your wife?
It's my girlfriend, but we've been together for 3 years, so eventually.
I'm curious what she makes. Not that it matters in this situation.
Uh, she just left her old job, but she was making like 15, 14, 50 an hour or something like that.
Okay. So
So
you
she's
guys will
looking for
probably.
something around 20 an hour.
So when you guys are married, you'll be over $100,000 a year. That'll be cool.
Yeah, when we move into the house, because it's done building at the end of the month. So when we move in, we're gonna she'll have another job by then, and we'll kind of start combining stuff.
I think the eating out now it has increased to a good amount, but with your salary, it's fine because you do. The down payment was obviously a lot. Take away that, and you don't spend much money on much stuff. Eating out's your vice.
Yeah, no, I don't go shopping or anything. Like I said, I put about 500 a month into that account just for gas or whatever else that month that I want to spend it on.
How customized is your new home?
It's a spec home, so it's not really customized. It's a standard floor plan that they already have approved by the city and for permits and stuff. And I picked one on a scattered lot because I don't want to deal with HOA.
Okay, cool. I was just wondering for future renting and selling. That's good that it's not that customized for that sake specifically. So, okay, well, you're in terms of your monthly spending and income, I think we're looking good there. Obviously, you wanted to get into the housing market earlier, so you kind of rushed into it. What's your total monthly cost, PMI, debt, property taxes, all the goodies?
Everything included is like 2,500.
Yeah, 2,500 you said?
Yeah, it's about 25.
Um, well, since you guys are not married, so it's 100% in your name, correct?
Yeah, it's all in my name.
Yeah, and I mean, whew, even with your pre-tax income, actually, this house is very expensive for you and you
It's
alone.
expensive. But even after all my bills, month to month, I'm still saving 1,100 to $1,200 a month. So it's not that bad.
That's good to hear. It's because you're taking from other categories, so you're not like the typical well-balanced person. Your categories are kind of leaning to an expensive house and then a lot of savings, which is good. But this takes up 37% of your post-tax income and almost 50% or sorry, 37% of your pre-tax, almost 50% of post-tax. That's expensive. When you guys get married, obviously that ratio will change, and it sounds like you all are headed on that path, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
But that
And my
actually,
also my income will increase. So just job history, for example, I graduated and I made about 41 because I took a teaching job while I looked for a job. And then I quit that and made 57 at my first engineering job. And then now I'm making 81. So within 2 years, I'll be over 100,000.
yeah, and that's good, I think. But yeah, I mean, this is like kind of 10% higher than I would like it to be for comfort level. You structure your monthly budget and spending in a way where you actually make this be okay. I'm just curious, like in the future, will you all of a sudden want to be able to spend more money on some other wants and stuff like
No,
that?
no,
No.
I don't. So the only one big purchase that I'm gonna make for myself is a new car, but that's not for like another 2 years. So
How much is in your emergency fund right now?
I have six, but I also have five somewhere else. So I have 11.
What's the other five in?
It's at the dealership. I'm on a waiting list.
For a car?
Yeah, I can get it back. It's fully refundable. But yeah, so the waiting list is I'm still another like a year to year and a half out.
Man, I don't know. With this monthly mortgage taking up so much of your money, I'd probably, even that itself is too low. I'd probably want to have minimum $20,000 in an emergency
Yeah, no,
fund.
that's what I'm saving. That's actually the exact number I'm getting back to.
Okay, getting back to, so did you take from what was considered your emergency fund for this?
Yeah, yeah. That 12 came from the emergency fund.
Well, buying a home is not an emergency, correct?
Uh, no, but it's an investment and it was worth it. So that's why I did it.
It's an investment, Worth it, I hope so. That's saying there's no emergencies. Uh,
I mean,
I want you to be able to buy a home and even only with 5% down, but all that comes with additional money outside of an emergency fund. You're kind of breaking some personal finance rules.
I know.
So you're okay with
Uh,
that risk.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Um, because well, electrical engineer, great job in Florida, similar to Texas with the economic situation, but man, when an emergency happens, and that's what it is, and it's an emergency, it's not predictable. This mortgage would swallow you alive, and then without a fully funded emergency fund. So, how much are you putting towards this emergency fund on a monthly basis?
Well, once I move, right now, 2,000. Once I move in, about 1,100 to 1,200.
Hmm. Okay. So it'll be back up by at least end of winter, or at
End of
the
this month.
longest.
Yeah, so the end of this month, I'll be at what, like 8, and then yeah, another year.
When do y'all move in?
The end of this month.
Oh yeah, so that will be another year. For some reason, I thought you had more time to put 2,000 aside every month. Oh, another year for an emergency fund. That yeah,
That's that's assuming I take care of all of the bills. Like I said before, we're gonna split the bills once she gets a better job.
I know, but legally she's not required to, and relationships sometimes don't work out. So this
Yeah,
is it's
and that's
we
why
can't bank on that. I
I
can
agree.
we can both think that that's going to happen. We can both hope that happens, and that's probably the likelihood. But we cannot make economic decisions based on that. Okay, you definitely rushed into this.
Yeah, I could have waited out my lease on my apartment, but you can't really time the market, and once you find a deal, you kind of just got to take it.
Well, yeah, you can only find a deal when you can afford it, and technically, I don't think you could afford it for two reasons. You had to touch your emergency fund to do it, and two, it's 37 of your post-tax or pre-tax. But again, the way you structure your spending, since you already have done it, I would cut back on really everything else until you get that emergency fund to $20,000. I'd probably
That's what I'm
have
already.
no more Chipotle every day, every other day until $20,000 is in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm already doing. I've done it this month.
Okay, very good. Now I saw you've maxed out a Roth IRA 2 years in a row.
This will be my third year. Yeah,
What's the purchase price of the car you're looking for in 2 years?
depends on how much money I have.
So you're just gonna
Uh,
buy based on what you're able to save within that 2 years, which is really only 1 year because this whole next year is going to emergency fund.
yeah, but I'm also gonna be 90 plus thousand income next year. Um,
Again, not something we can bank on, but
I hear you.
you're taking lots of assumptions in the world of personal finance, and personal finance likes to disagree sometimes, in a
Yeah,
minority of times. But the thing is no one's unique in the fact that it can happen.
yeah. No, I mean just based off my field, right?
Yeah.
A 2 years to 3 years of experience, you're making high 80s to 90. That's just what the going rate is.
No, I get you. I get you. I get you. You've kind of pre-lifestyled inflation yourself. That's interesting. It's the first time I've seen that.
Well, um, you could say that, but as long as I make money on the house, I wouldn't really categorize it like that.
Yeah, you kind of have to. You might have to ride a an interesting housing market for the next few years, but
Yeah,
um,
I mean, I don't plan on getting rid of it for at least 5 years, 4 to 5 years.
yeah.
So
And then you want to put 3% down on another house, and then 3% down on another house, and keep moving and moving and moving.
maybe it really depends on the market. Like right now with the median house price being 300 or above, it's very hard to get 20% down. At least in my area, I don't know where it is everywhere
It's
else,
hard
but
if
I
you
know
don't
some
have
areas
patience.
20,000 would take you a long time. 20% would take you a long time to save
It would take
if you're
more
just
time to save. You could cut back on things with your income, especially when you both have a combined income. If you
Mhm.
continued to rent, you could have done that in a couple years.
Are you also accounting for the lost equity that I've thrown away because I was renting?
We don't necessarily know where the equity is going to be going in the next 2 years, so I'm not banking on that. We don't know what the housing market is going to look like in the next 2 years. We're in a volatile time for the housing market.
That's true, but it's not going to get cut by 40 or 50%. Like, let's not. We got to be realistic. It could go down 20%, but it's going to go right back up.
Well, I mean, you asked if I was missing any potential equity positions. It might just not grow. So you might not gain much equity other than, and of course, the what
Well,
you're
I'm talking
paying.
about the money that you're spending in rent. So if I'm spending 17, because rent is high here, and
Yeah,
for this one bedroom that I'm in right now, we're spending almost 1,700 a month.
sure.
So
That
that's a
is a
lot of
lot.
money.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of money over 12 to 16 months.
It's interesting. I don't think you're going to be in a bad position. I don't, just because, again, how you structure it. I think you rushed into it and you pre lifestyled inflation yourself. You're in a mathematically bad position, but you're in a how you do things okay position. You kind of go against the grain in terms of how you structure your spending categories.
Yeah, no, I don't. Food is the only thing I really spend money on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It really is.
And future wife is on the same page with those spending categories typically?
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of part of the discussion is like when we start combining accounts and stuff, um, I'm gonna kind of manage the money a little bit. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay, we'll see how that works out.
I mean, I mean the goal, right? Because in my career, like I'm gonna have a high income, and eventually when we have kids, she's gonna stay at home. So I'm gonna be managing the money long term, regardless.
Cool. Well, any final thoughts or anything?
I've seen you talk a lot about portfolios, investment portfolios in the recent videos, um, and I've also seen you talk about how you don't like swing trading. So what's the reason for that?
Yeah. No, some people can do it. I know a few people in my own life who do it on uh who are able to make a living out of that. Now, when it comes to just my general advice to people I talk to, do I pick nearly guaranteed 10% returns on the S&P 500 over the course of decades for someone, or an 85% chance of them losing their money swing trading? I choose the 10% gain.
That's fair.
Let Jordan know what you think about his financial situation in the comments below. And if you want to see things like this happen live and you want to help support the growth of this channel, feel free to join my private Discord linked in the description below, where we'll chat on a daily basis and have a video chat once a week as well. Shout out to my 4 Cups of Coffee supporters: Abdil Martinez, Mark, Josh Bennett, Clayton006, Tyler Chong, Drew Smith, Timothy Williams, Sam I Am, Jason Spriggs, Nicholas Daly, Tom Mel, Jay Freedom, and Hans. 8 Cups of Coffee supporters making the dream come true: Justice Strickland, Anthony, and anonymous supporter, and Sam V03. Subscribe and stick around for more. Thanks.